You ever have one of those moments where you buy something small, something that doesn't even matter, and later it ends up changing your life in a way you couldn't have imagined? Like those tiny decisions that don't feel important until months later, when they suddenly become the reason everything shifts? That's exactly what happened to a guy named Randy Guijarro. And honestly, the way it unfolded sounds like a scene from a documentary mixed with pure luck and pure instinct. It was a normal Saturday morning. Nothing special, no big plans, just the classic yard sale hunts he did for fun. Randy wasn't rich, he wasn't a collector with a huge budget, he just loved old stuff. Vintage postcards, coins, random little pieces of history most people overlook. So he pulls up to this small garage sale in Fresno, California. Nothing fancy. Just a few tables, some old dusty boxes, the kind of sale people walk past without slowing down. But Randy walks in, takes his time, and starts flipping through things. While looking around, he spots this old cardboard box filled with black and white photographs. No labels, no sleeves, no explanation. Just forgotten memories from someone's attic. The seller tells him, $5 for the whole box. Most people would have kept walking. Nothing looked valuable, nothing stood out, just random images from decades ago. But one tiny picture catches Randy's eye. It's a small tintype photograph. Faded, scratched, worn at the edges. It shows a group of young men playing croquet outside an old building. Totally normal, except one guy. Something about the guy's face, his posture, his look, felt familiar. Not familiar like, I've met him, but familiar like, wait. I've seen this before. Somewhere. But Randy can't place it. He's not thinking, millions, he's just curious. So he shrugs, hands the seller $5, and leaves with the box. Later that night, sitting in his living room, he pulls out that mysterious photo again. This time, he really looks at it. He grabs a magnifier. Examines the face. Zooms in on his phone. Checks the clothing, the background, everything. And then it hits him. The man in the photo looks exactly like Billy the Kid, the legendary outlaw from the late 1800s. The same Billy the Kid who only had one confirmed photograph in existence. If Randy was wrong, it was just a cool photo. If he was right, he might be holding the rarest Wild West image ever found. So he starts researching. Reading articles, comparing facial features, diving into forums. He even posts the photo online, and immediately gets flooded with people calling him crazy. Because how does a Billy the Kid photo end up in a $5 yard sale box? That's like finding a Picasso in a thrift store bin. But Randy didn't drop it. He knew his gut wasn't lying. So he contacts experts. Photographic historians. Wild West researchers. People who had studied Billy the Kid for decades. Most of them dismissed him. A few listened. One said, "Send it in." That's when things got serious. Over the next year, the photo went through forensic facial recognition analysis, geological verification of the location, clothing and object dating, background structure matching, height and body proportion comparisons, artifact authentication, historical timeline cross-checks. Every detail was examined. And then, after months of tests and arguments and debates, the truth came out. It was real. The photograph was officially authenticated as the second known image of Billy the Kid, taken in 1878. A moment in time nobody knew was captured. Not a portrait. Not a staged picture. Just Billy the Kid casually playing croquet with his gang, something historians never imagined. The estimated value? Up to $5 million. From a $5 box. When reporters finally spoke to Randy, he said something that stuck with me. "I didn't do anything special. I just paid attention." And that's the crazy part. He didn't go searching for treasure. He didn't have insider knowledge. He wasn't trained or wealthy or connected. He just trusted that feeling you get when something looks off. When something doesn't match what your brain expects. Most people ignore that feeling. He followed it. And that tiny decision, $5, 1 second, one photo out of hundreds, turned into a multi-million-dollar discovery that rewrote a piece of American history. It's wild to think about how many people walked past that same box. How many hands touched it without realizing what was inside. How close that piece of history came to being thrown out forever. But somehow, it ended up in Randy's hands. And that's why this story hits so hard. Sometimes you don't need luck. You just need a moment where you pay attention to the thing everyone else overlooks. Because you never know, the next ordinary thing you pick up for a couple of dollars might secretly change everything.